Hey everybody, welcome to week 14. Checking in with all of you. Hope things are going well. We're getting close to the end of the semester, which is good news. Um, I will flip over to our Canvas page and we'll go over what we have going on this week. All right, so here we are. We're in week 14 now. Again, like last week, there's no reading for you to do. What I want you to do, what I hope you'll do, is spend the time that you normally would have spent on our class just working on your competitor review with your group mates. I know that there's been some shuffling of groups, people working individually or different things like that. So if you need to know who's in your group, I believe I have everything caught up on Canvas. So if you click on this People tab, you should be able to see the groups for the final project. You can see who's in your group and you can message each other that way. I get the sense, though, that people are able to communicate with each other and that things have been going pretty well when I read over the progress reports from last week. So this week on Wednesday, I've got just another progress report for you on the competitor review. The goal there is for you to just start working on it. Of course, you don't have to have it finished by then, but if you've started, you can get a good start on what you're doing and you'll have a chance to think about what it is you need to do still. So if I click on this, that's what I say in the description. Just want you to write a couple sentences that says whether you completed what you planned or agreed to complete, and then a sentence or two detailing what you accomplished this week, and then your plan for accomplishing what you still need to do. So this is an individual assignment. Each person in the team should submit one. On Sunday, your competitor review is due, and maybe it's helpful just to go over the guidelines here one more time. So for this one, you're looking at these three different competitors for Opalescence and determining what they have going for them in terms of content. So the key here is you need to remind the reader why you're writing, explain the points you want to cover in the report, so you're giving some kind of an overview or an introduction, explain what a competitive review is, why people do it, and what benefits it provides. And you can review what we've read in our content strategy for the web book to help you there. Describe your methods for doing the review. How did you do it? Did you, obviously you looked at these websites, but how did you, let's for example say, determine what constituted one chunk of content versus another? Did you go page by page? Did you go chunk by chunk? Things like that. Why did you do it that way? Why did you select these websites and not others? Obviously, I've given you these websites, but based on what you've been able to tell from what you see, why do you think these would be good competitors for Opalescence to look at in order to compare content? So describe what you did, and then give the results. What did you find? What did Glow do differently than Opalescence? What did HiSmile do differently? What did Zoom do differently? What did they have in common? You can organize that in that way. Draw conclusions. So this is where you would answer the so what question. You found that Glow does XYZ and HiSmile does ABC. So what? What does that mean for Opalescence? Give those conclusions and discuss them. And then finally give some recommendations. So if you found that all three of these competitors are doing something that Opalescence isn't, maybe that means that Opalescence should be doing that because it's just a common thing that teeth whitening companies do. That's one example, but you want to conclude with some recommendations. So I would highly encourage you, if you're writing some kind of a written report, to maybe consider these two bullets as like an introduction. You have a header even that says introduction. You can maybe include this third bullet in the introduction too. You could have a header that says methods. You'd have a header that says results, a header that says conclusions, and a header that says recommendations. It would make that really nice and readable. If you have questions about this assignment, obviously let me know. Next week, we'll just preview a little bit. We'll be a lot like this week. On Wednesday, I'll just ask for a progress report for the content audit assignment, and then I'll ask you to turn in the content audit assignment. and that I know you've been working on. So in my video next week, I'll go over that a little bit more. I did make some slight changes to the content strategy report. I think I've simplified it a little bit. Um, this is the final piece of this whole series of group projects that you're working on now, and I guess what I'll ask you to do is just read over this assignment description. It's published, it's available. I will be talking about it more maybe in next week's video or for sure the following weeks. But I want you to read over it now because if you have any questions, I want you to ask them early on. So I hope by kind of revising this, I've made it more clear, and I've also made this social media element optional. If you don't want to include social media analysis in your final report, you don't have to. Okay, so that's it for this week. I hope you're all doing well, and I'm happy to help wherever I can. So please let me know when questions arise. Thanks, everybody.